Hello, my name's Kathy. I'm just going to very quickly run you through, as a Zoom host for Restored Lives, how to log in and to run the meeting. So you will have been provided with a set of notes that we call a timetable and technical instructions document. You will want it open on your device on the evening so you can copy and paste the YouTube link. But I also find it's really helpful to have one printed out in front of me as well. So the first thing you'll want to do is to go to Zoom. Now I think, yes, I'm logged into my personal account right now, and I don't pay for any form of pro host on my personal account. So I'm going to log out and I'm going to log in again on my profile that we do pay for. And the first thing you obviously need to do in the run up to your first course is to schedule a meeting. And when you do, you have a lot of options, as you can see, on what you can do. So we always use the same one because it's much easier for the guests if every week the meeting ID and password is the same. We obviously want videos on. We obviously want audio. It's great, depending on how you feel, to enable them to join before the host or to enable a waiting room so they can sort of sit there if you're running slightly late until you get there. You can pre-assign breakout rooms, and if you want to record the meeting, you can, as long as obviously the other guests are happy with that. And if your co-host logs in to Zoom on a very specific email, if you pop their email in there and you click save, then they can be a co-host with you. So going back to the meetings, I've got one here set to go, which is what you will have. And so all you have to do is press start. You want to set up your Zoom call. You will want to set up your Zoom call about 10 to 15 minutes before the guests arrive. And you might want to change your name, so you can right click and rename yourself if you wish. As people arrive, if you've enabled the waiting room, you will have to admit them. So what I'll do is I'm going to join as a second person now so you can see what I mean. So I'm going to pretend I'm a guest, but I'm on my phone now instead. And you can see that I am sitting there waiting to be admitted. So you have to say admit. So I've obviously turned my video off on there. Now, if the person you've admitted wants to become the host instead, all you have to do is click more and say make host. As they arrive, you might find that you can't really see them, so you might want to suggest that they rearrange their device or their screen so you can see their face, perhaps turn a light on or shut the curtains, because sometimes if they're sitting in front of the window with the curtains wide open, it means they're not very visible, because it's a much nicer experience when you're facilitating the group if you can see everybody's face. So that there will also be a few technical issues as people join, so you will have to deal with those as well. If you want to chat with them, you click on chat and you can pop a message here. If you want to chat with only one of them, you click and then you can send a private message to one of them. In the first week, you might want to share a file with them if one of them says that they haven't received their books you posted yet. So to share a file, you would obviously click on file and find the file and add it to the chat for them. Once they're all very comfortable and they're all settled, um, the first thing you'll want to do is to show them the welcome introduction video. So the way that you do that is obviously you'll toggle to the document. You will go down to the YouTube video. Actually, I think it's also at the top, but there we go. And I would highlight it and I'd right click and copy. And then once you're happy with that, actually it's this one I want, come to think of it. You will then go back to Zoom and you'll pop the video in here for them. And you can either right click and paste, or if you're like me, you'll just hit Control V. And then you press return and you shared it for everybody to see. Part of the issue with the guests is it's really important that they take themselves off video and they mute themselves before they go and watch the YouTube link. It's also really important that they don't close Zoom. So they're toggling between screens. Some of them can open it just fine by clicking the link. Others might need to highlight it and right click it and say open URL. So you will find on the first night that it moves a little bit slower than from week 2 onwards. And what they will then do is they will watch the video until they get to the blue screen, and then they will press pause, and then they come back to you, and then you have a chat. So you literally follow the timetable every week, and you go off and watch the video and then come back at the time it says for group discussions. If they are on a different device, it won't look exactly the same. So some of this will be missing. And they may have to touch the screen to see the menu, then go to participants, then scroll down to the bottom to get to touch. It really does chat, to get to the right screen. As the host, you can change the view. So you can have a gallery view, you can have a speaker view, and yes, there's not enough people, but if there's lots of you, you can also do a spotlight view, which is really useful as well when you're doing this. Once the meeting's up and running and you've started it and you've talked them through about muting themselves, unmuting themselves, how to send messages, sharing the YouTube link, it really is literally just a case of following the timetable and the technical instructions until the end of the evening. Sometimes at the end of the evening, people want to stay behind and have a little chat, and that's absolutely fine. And at the very end of the evening, all you have to do when everyone's left is hit end, and that will end the evening. Breakout rooms, you can either do it automatically. So if you've got a very big group and you want them all to have a chance to talk in discussion time, you could say two rooms, and you could do it automatically and it will split them equally between 2 rooms. Or you can be quite clever and you can do it manually. Because there's only me on this call, really, it's a bit difficult for me to show you fully how to do breakout rooms, but you are able to set the time for how long it will be, whether they come back automatically, whether there's a countdown for 60 seconds for them coming back to you. You can also make sure you've got options to close them automatically, and you are able to broadcast messages to the people in the breakout rooms as well. So it is an excellent facility, and certainly a lot of our groups have found it helpful to go into breakout rooms at discussion times so that they've got more opportunity to speak because there's less of them. So if you've got a particularly big group, you might enjoy it. It's also good for the listening exercise on week 2 to do breakout rooms of 2 in each as well. So it's a brilliant feature. I think that's everything I need to share with you now. So I'm going to click end and hope that you found this really helpful. Thanks so much.